Hey everyone, I'm Eric. I'm an Angular developer. I've been doing that for 6 or 7 years, 14-ish years as a software engineer. And I've just got a short little window here to work on. I would like to make an improvement to this microdash sizes script. Um, so microdash is a library of mine where I replicate Lodash's API, but with some design decisions to allow me to make much smaller versions of each file. So for example, this shuffle function that I just made in my last stream uh, from Lodash is 3.8K and from Microdash is under 1K. Um, so there's a sort of awkward experience now for just for myself as I'm developing these when I want to play around with different options for how to implement the body of a function that might affect this number. Currently, I have to rebuild the whole library and then come back into this and then rebuild the Lodash and rebuild the Microdash. Um, and I would just like to simplify that a bit, make a quicker dev loop cycle. So let's dive in. Um, I have to even remember anything. Here we go. Calc sizes is the actual script that does it. It sort of pulls the strings on the Angular CLI to build up the resulting bundles that get analyzed for their size. Um, and maybe there's two main things that I feel like I could tackle to improve this experience. One is um, to be able to run just Microdash and not have to wait for it to run Lodash every single time I make a tweak. And the other is to integrate the experience of rebuilding the library itself in between each run of each time I do one of these microdash sizes commands. I guess let's start with the skipping the Lodash compilation when possible. So I have to think of like a sort of UX for this. Um, Currently, obviously it's just command line. I type in the name of a function and it goes and rebuilds the things. How do I want to type it in? How do I want to say which version? I could just do two prompts. I could prompt for a file name, and after you've pressed enter, it prompts for which library. Why not? That seems easy enough. So let's say which libraries. M for microdash, L for Lodash, ML for both. Sure. So we'll pass that on down to this build and explore. And looks like that gets us to this build. Where do we actually choose the files, which ones actually get built? It's been a while since I've worked in this. Inspect is going to be aha. So inspect takes the bundles from explore and finds out. Oh, it just auto detects whether. So this is called after you've already chosen which one is being run. So maybe this input paths. This get paths. That's what's going to do it. So this is currently returning an array of paths that match the file glob. And if we just tell it which library to use that, we will only choose the paths for that given library. Um, What kind of values do we pass in for this file glob? Aha! Here's the place where we actually, okay. Here's the place where we actually can specify micro dash, low dash, or star. Yeah. Oh, that was way less intrusive than I was expecting. Let's get rid of all these changes we did down here. And this glob is the one that's responsible for. Okay, so let's build up our file glob based on the inputs we're getting. Great, so file glob is going to start as star star slash, and then if input is all, file glob is going to have star added onto the end. I think maybe I'd rather go with interpolation instead of building this up as I go. So let's say, yeah, this isn't just input anymore. This is the file name base. And then let's transform that, saying if the base is all, is the string all, then we're going to turn it into a star. Otherwise, we'll leave it alone. So if base, yeah, and then, so we don't really need to repeat that. We can just overwrite it in this case. Base equals star. Perfect. And then transform library as well. So if library dot includes the character M and the character L, so that then we can type them in either order, then the library equals star. Else, if the library includes L, then we want this to be to match that part of the path. So the string low dash with no special characters. Otherwise, it's going to be micro dash. And then we've done all the work building up that file glob here. And we just need to interpolate the values we chose above. Dot base and library. Okay. What are you telling me? Oh, okay. We will make this a little nicer in a moment. So let's see how we're doing. Hopefully now, when I'll get that second prompt, and it will build only the bundle for the given library. File name base. So let's go with sample size, which is the one I was working on before. And let's go ahead and remove these bundle sizes so we can see them work. And let's just do the Lodash version. So now hopefully it's going to grab just the sample size.lodash build. Yeah, oh, that's beautiful. Build the bundle with just that, see how big it is, and put the number right there. Lovely. And we can do it again. And have it be for microdash. This is going to save me some time already. So I don't have to wait for it to build Lodash every time. I only really want it to run microdash. Great. So that's step 1 of 2. Step 2 is going to be making it so that, okay, so if I want to tweak the code in here and then recompute the size, I took care of the first pain point, which was I don't need to wait for it to rerun this size every time. I only tweaked it in this microdash file, so Lodash obviously hasn't changed. The other is I have to switch out to my terminal right now in my current workflow, rebuild the microdash library, then come back and rerun this. So let's see if we can integrate that somehow. Maybe first we'll refactor this guy. I set up, when I'm coding, these complexity linting rules to force myself to keep the code smaller, more focused, more succinct, easier to read. And sometimes it feels like a pain, but in the end, the code turns out better, and I'm happy the next time I come back and have to look at it. So maybe we can just split these two out into separate helper functions. Like get file base and actually let's throw the word input on there. Get library input. Get file base input. Now it says these should be constant because I'm not changing them mid function anymore. And this is a promise of type string, as is this. And I like to have my helper functions below the functions that use them, so that when I start at the top of the file and I'm reading, I get the main idea and the details are down at the bottom. Okay, lovely. Now, getting it to recompile the library itself, I suppose right here, might be okay. Currently, I have it rebuild the library when I start this program, but I don't see any big drawback to having it recompile every time I build. Like, obviously that's what I want in these cases where I'm tweaking this and then I want to rerun the size again. And I can't think of a case where that's going to be too painful. There aren't other times where I run multiple commands from this in a row. So yeah, let's just do it. So currently that's done with a pre-script in my package.json. I run this through this package.json script, and it does an ng-build prod at the beginning. So we should be able to just execute that here programmatically inside of our node script. And I have to remember how to do that. Exec sync, that sounds like it. Execute some command. Oh yeah, I'm already doing that to build. Okay, so I'm already running the ng-CLI to build the little mini program that imports the function from either Lodash or Microdash to determine how much of it is pulled into the final bundle. So it's going to be almost exactly like this, but I'm going to have it run not Microdash sizes, but I'm going to build Microdash itself. Oh, and I only need to do that if the library includes Microdash. That's kind of a fun little bonus I get from this. Of course, I have never wanted to just rerun the Lodash sizes, because if I update Lodash itself, I've probably also updated Angular, and I want to rerun the sizes for everything. But anyway, might as well. So that would be basically if the library is not Lodash, so that means it's going to be either Microdash or star. We want to build without source maps Microdash. And apparently we have to specify the working directory like that. I assume that was necessary because that's what I did down here. So now we don't need this part of the script anymore. We can rerun this. It should be faster to get to the prompt. Not too fast, come on. You can do better than this. There we go. So now if I want to check the size, I don't know, let's just do a different one for fun. Let's do find. Oh, whoops, wrong library. If we go up into Microdash and we go to, I don't know, pull at, let's do pull at, and let's just do Lodash. We shouldn't see any extra compilation. Oh, you know, I should probably print a little message right here. Yeah, that was quick. So, oh, pull at. Oh, I was like, why didn't this change? Oh, it's because I ran the code for pull at, but I had open pull all. So I want pull all for Lodash. We should see this number fill in. Let's go ahead and add rebuilding Microdash. Rebuilding Microdash. Do we get this back? Okay, there we go. You can see there's no diff. It put back the number that was there originally, so it's still working just as it was before. Let me rebuild this so I can have my console log now. Or restart it, I mean. I guess it doesn't really need to build it. And now let's do pull all again, but specify Microdash. It's rebuilding Microdash. Look at that. That's lovely. And for my next trick, I will actually modify this to make the bundle size bigger. Keep memory changes. Oh no. Well, that's all right. So I have updated this. I'm not restarting the script. But if I do this again, I should get a bigger Microdash number than before. 218, and it used to be 199. Lovely, and I take that back out. Pull all, redo microdash, and we should get right back where we started, and we will have accomplished our goal. Streamlining my dev process for calculating these sizes as I play around with these implementations to trim them down. So, update, back to where we started. Cool, very, very cool. Before I finish, I do remember there's, oh yeah, I'm just going to write myself a to-do for some future time I'm playing with this. Look into, while I have been playing with these in the past, I've discovered that if I export these not as a function, but as a const, which equals that, an arrow function, I end up with a smaller bundle. And I have not yet pulled the trigger to just run through microdash looking for all the places I can do that to trim everything down even more. And now, even just showing this example, I see that can cause a problem. I would even have to sort of redo how I handle these typings where I have to I overload the method function, the signature, the function signature. And I'm not even sure how I could accomplish that if I export it as a constant. So I could go through and export all of the ones that I don't need to overload like this as constants and reduce the bundle size of just those. And maybe that could be worth it. But I am going to be inconsistent then, and I do like consistency. I do like consistency, especially in the documentation, because I just use TypeDoc. Oh, I don't even have a browser open right now. Let me see if I can get a browser up here for you. I'll show you the TypeDoc for this, so you see what I'm talking about. So here's the microdash library, and it lists all the functions in a category. And if only some of them are changed to constants, it's gonna split them up awkwardly based on how I had to define the typing. And it's going to affect my documentation. And so if I wanted to go through and update all of those to be constants instead of functions, I'm also going to have to update the way that I generate this documentation. And that now is sounding less fun. And I mean, it's all just for fun anyway. I mean, it's going to shave what, like less than 10 bytes off of each function. I suppose if one of them, like this one, uses multiple other functions, so say it shaves 6 bytes off of each one of these. Yeah, that's something now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus this one itself, which is 6. Oh, 7. If those use any, let's just say it's going to shave 60 bytes off. Now I'm going to be, down 640 bytes, we'll say. I mean, is that really going to make a performance difference for an end user? It's probably not actually useful. It's just fun to get this number as low as possible. But the trade-off of having to update how I generate all the documentation negates that fun for me. Okay, so I talked myself right out of adding that to-do item. Let me put this back the way I found it. And gosh, that might do it for us. That was just a quick little task. I thought I'd jump on in my narrow window of time here. I didn't actually think I would get it done, but it went pretty smoothly. So let's make a commit for this guy. This is a chore. So my commits, when I'm developing a library like this, they have nice tools for building up your changelog. And if you follow a certain format called conventional commit, the the tooling will read through all your commit messages and automatically build up your changelog with all the features and bug fixes, but it will leave out all the chores. This does not affect an end user, so I don't need this to be in my changelog. That only affects me as I'm developing these functions. And then it's also read by the same tooling when it is choosing the version bump. If it's going to be a patch version, a major version, or a minor version, it will just read the commit messages and figure all that out automatically. So this is a chore, which doesn't affect anything to do with changelogs. Streamline process when playing with. Let's be more specific. Streamline the calc sizes script. And I suppose this is actually the Microdash sizes project. That's a separate project from Microdash itself in this repo. It's a mono repo with several open source libraries and a couple of little projects like this one that are used only for me as I'm developing. And skim our diff like a good programmer to make sure anything going into master has been looked at twice. Yep, that's all looking good. This was just refactoring in terms of like that prompt is all the same. You know what? I should try. I have not yet actually tested all or ML. So I suppose I should do that before I actually commit to committing. Yeah, that's a great idea. So let's do pull all again, but do ML. And rebuilding Microdash, good. Then we should see it rebuild or build the mini package for both Lodash and Microdash. So there's Lodash 8.15, yeah, which matches what it used to be. And there's Microdash. Perfect. So now if I do all, it's going to run through, it should run through all of the functions in the whole library, recalculating the sizes for each one. So let's try all and do only for Lodash. So it's not rebuilding Microdash. We would have seen that printed out if it was. It's starting with array.chunk. Perfect. There's for Lodash, and it moves straight on to compact or compact. And I should do just Lodash. Great. And I suppose the only thing left is to test all with ML, and then I'll feel satisfied. So we want to do all with ML. It is rebuilding Microdash. That's just what I want. Ooh, I noticed there's a typo. It even underlined it for me in my editor, but I totally ignored it. Okay, so we're doing, where to go? Doing Lodash of something and Microdash of something. It should be array.chunk. And now we're doing array.compact. Okay, perfect. Lodash and Microdash. Yeah, okay. Now I'm satisfied. We can stop that. Found a typo. See? Useful to spend a little extra time before you commit to committing. And that should do it. Commit and push. All set. Simple little task. Only took, what, a half an hour. Nice. And that's great because I only had about 45 minutes available. Thanks for watching. And I will eventually pick a set time to do these live feeds on. I'll set aside a couple of hours on every Thursday night or something. I haven't chosen the night yet, and I'll update that in my my Twitch info there. Today's my first day streaming on Twitch, and I've had the day off of work, and I've just been doing it. This is my third Twitch video. or something like that. Um, I'll also make this available on YouTube for later viewing. Um, thanks for sticking with me. I hope you found it helpful. Feel free, if you're on YouTube, to leave a comment. If you're on Twitch, to comment now with anything that you thought was helpful or unnecessary. And I'll keep giving a go at this live streaming thing. Thanks again.